What would a legalised cannabis model look like in Western Australia? So federally, there are some laws that you still have to get around. So what is your proposal for legalising it in WA? What are the steps that you would go to? What is the tax model? What would that look like? How does your policy differentiate from the Greens, who have been pro-cannabis since they were formed?
Well, it's nice that the Greens are pro-cannabis, but they've achieved precisely nothing with all they've been doing over the last 20 years. I support their moves. Anyone who's going to help us in this would be welcome. But what I'm looking for, bearing in mind, people think we're a single-issue party, and we're not. The cannabis is the tip of an iceberg, and there's so many things which follow on from that. We actually produced an economic paper showing that if we were to legalise recreational cannabis, there would be, over the 4-year forward estimates, $1.25 billion, conservatively estimated, which would be available for the government to fund hospitals and aged care and daycare and maybe helping the homeless. You know, there's minor things. Minor things. And what have they done? Well, they've actually pissed on it. They said, no, we don't want that. And if they had opened up the recreational cannabis, which, but I don't use recreational cannabis. I don't need to. I'm living actually the life of Riley, so I don't need to have a mind-altering substance. Maybe the occasional gin and tonic or whiskey, but just the occasional, and the occasional cannabis as well. But if we took away the fear of THC, which is the underlying problem of all this, a fear of THC because it's going to kill people, 0 deaths over, well, whenever. If we took away the fear of THC, we'd open up the whole hemp industry. Now, I did a calculation about that. Now, my calculations are back of the envelope of $73 billion for Western Australia. But let's make it conservative. Let's call it $20 billion. Could we maybe balance our exports, imports with iron ore, maybe have a safer economy? Could we build up perhaps a better balance of trade with our Asian partners, working together for a geopolitical sense of unity and harmony? Would that be helpful? Yes, it would. I think it would. And so the idea about cannabis as something dangerous and as a drug of addiction, which is not, a dangerous drug which is not, a drug which causes psychosis, which it doesn't actually. Well, there's issues with that, but it is not the case. You take cannabis, you'll get psychosis. You won't. So we've really got to get to grips with the idea that we need to follow truth, we need to follow science, question science by all means, but follow the outcomes, and then serve the people. For example, a farmer getting maybe on a good year $700 per hectare for wheat. You could, with using all of the hemp plant, $23 million per hectare. Which farmer wouldn't want that? And then it would actually turn the topsoil from Yamite to about 90 centimetres of good quality topsoil, excellent worms, good microbe content, doubling your yield, for example, of canola or wheat later when you're rotating the crop, helping the water supplies into your rivers and lakes, rejuvenating, if you like, our water resources, helping with the microclimate change. There's so many good things we could do if only we stopped being frightened of something about which there is no need for fear in the first place.